entire world's population suddenly blacks out for no apparent reason for 2 minutes and 17 seconds.
Manchester United. Alan Wiley, it was only supposed to be 2 minutes, but Alan Wiley was the fourth official.
He was the executive producer.
Yeah, I think he was, yeah.
I'm writing all these down. Yeah, and then during that time, apparently it turns out that they all wake up. During that time, that obviously chaos has ensued, car crashes, the world has sort of fallen apart, but they all had the same sort of flash forward. They have a premonition of 6 months ahead, and it's very bizarre, so you don't really know exactly what's going on.
Have you seen it? Have you seen that episode?
Yeah, I watched it this morning with the property of so-and-so Pictures Limited stamped right across it for 60 minutes. I couldn't really see what was going on.
Out of 10, what would you give it?
I would give it a good 8. I like this sort of stuff. So, I mean, it's one of those things where, you know, this big American drama, so much going on, you just have to let it wash over you the first time. Don't try and figure out who's doing what and what this character's relevance is. You just have to sort of take it all in. But by the end, you want to watch more, so that's a good thing.
Something else starts tonight on Channel 5 at 10 o'clock. Our old mate Ross Noble, who came in and saw us a couple of weeks back, his Australian trip. And I watched one of these the other day, Mike, and they're kind of not as slick as the Billy Connolly shows, but they make a virtue of that. It's just basically Ross on a bike with a camera doing what he does around Australia.
Yeah, absolutely. When you first watch it, because obviously Channel 5 also did the Paul Merton ones, which is slightly
Was that the China
structure, yeah, which is superb, and India as well. But this is Ross's sort of personality just carries you through this, because it's a lot of it is clips of the gigs in the similar sort of format to the Billy Connolly stuff. He's just a likeable guy.
Yeah.
If you just sit back and enjoy it, those who don't know him, don't know his act, might be a bit sort of bemused at first, because he does sort of go off on these sort of, you know, improvised tangents. But that's all part of the pleasure of it, and it's great fun. It's 10 o'clock on 5.
Now, the third series, The Choir, finished last week. BAFTA award-winning show with old Gareth Malone. And I'm surprised to see that tomorrow night, BBC 2, 9 o'clock, he's doing what they often do in these kind of shows. He's going back to the people he worked with in the first place to see how they're getting on.
Yeah, they're all sort of selling a big issue now. It's all going horribly. No, it's just, yeah, it's a Boys Don't Sing Revisited as the title, and it's just going back to the original comprehensive where a couple of years ago he went in there, and you know, where we first saw this guy who looked completely incapable of sort of getting these sort of kids to have any sort of enthusiasm in performing in a choir, and he just has this knack. I don't know what it is, but he has this knack of being able to...
Have you seen it? Have you seen The Choir at all?
No, I don't think they target 1634 ABC One men.
I tell you what, the last series, I caught a couple of them, and he was in South Oxley, up sort of Watford way, and it's a bit of a rough and ready part of the world. And they were trying to, he went in there, and he's just got the touch, isn't he? People kind of went along with this idea of building a community choir in an area where you wouldn't have thought they'd be up for it.
Yeah, the first thing he walks, I mean, the very first episode, he walks into the local boxing club, and there's this guy who ends up being quite prominent throughout the 4 episodes. You couldn't ask for 2 less likely people to sort of be a meeting of minds, and in fact they don't get on at first, you know, because he just, you know, he admits he's a sort of posh middle class bloke who comes from a totally different background, but he just, I don't know how he does it. It's a miracle.
Wednesday, a show that's been heavily plugged by the Beeb, is The Secret Life of Twins, 9 PM.
It's not that secret,
Wednesday. Obviously, clearly not. The way they hammered it on breakfast TV this morning, not that secret at all.
No secret.
What's this one all about?
It's a document. It's a 2-part documentary. There's one on BBC 1, 9 o'clock Wednesday. The second one is on BBC 2, 9 o'clock Thursday, which is absolutely identical to the first one, strangely enough. No, it's not really. But basically, the idea is that they're looking at identical twins and the bizarre genetic coincidences that link them, even if they've grown up thousands of miles apart. So you get lots of experiments, lots of studies. You get a couple of kids who was Chinese babies separated, you know, shortly after birth. So one's grown up in Norway, one's grown up in America, reunited for the first time. And you sort of see, although they speak different languages, the link there and the connection is extraordinary. And the most interesting one, you've got 2 guys, one of they're identical twins as well, one of whom is incredible health, fitness fanatic, blah blah blah, eats well, doesn't touch alcohol, caffeine, etc. And his brother, who's the opposite and doesn't exercise, you know, stuffs his face with fish and chips. The brother had a heart attack, not entirely surprisingly, but the fit one, when they test him, turns out to have as many of the genetic health issues underlying as the unhealthy one, which sort of says, well, you might as well just eat rubbish. If you're doomed, you're doomed.
It will go something to be the incredible documentary you recommended last week, Wounded, which was a lot of talk of on Thursday, which was an incredible bit of TV. It was very sad, very moving stuff. But Mike, you're absolutely right. It was the pick of the week's telly,
by an absolute mile. Yeah, I mean, you're left sort of speechless and in awe, and it's hard not to sort of talk in cliches when you watch stuff like that, but it was just sort of powerful, moving stuff that made you stop and think and give you a sense of perspective on life, really.
At the other end of the scale, the big soap event of the week is the return of Charity Dingle to Emmerdale. I'm sure Andy's getting very excited about it. It is a shame not doing the snooker that night, because you can't watch it, can you?
Oh, I'm gutted. They will repeat that, surely.
They're bound to.
They're bound to, yeah. Yeah, because in fact there's 2 weddings going on. So Coronation Street's got a wedding which sort of kicks off tonight.
I missed both.
Prison wedding it is, yeah.
Prison wedding.
John and Fizz.
John and...
And you watch it, so
Mate,
you're joking.
I have to watch.
No, you don't. You don't have to watch it.
I have to watch it.
No, I know you're Harry Hill stuff, but you can listen, you can go how you watch
You
Coronation
have to
Street.
get into it a bit, otherwise you'd go mad.
Yeah, of course.
You've got to try and buy into it a little.
Charity Dingle returning?
Oh, I've seen it already. I've watched it already. It's good stuff. Yeah.
Any shadows I should look out for?
People will look like their churches there, so there's a bit of that going on.
There's a great line, Paul, at the end of the charity one. There's a big scene between, I think it might be on the Friday episode, where Kane and Charity are yelling at each other, and there's this kid, Noah, Charity's kid, who I think must be about 5, 6 years old, and he just goes, "Mummy, why is everybody shouting?"
Yeah. That's right, because it's Emmerdale.